Welcome back to another episode of Why It Works on What It Is. Today we're going to be delving into a YouTube channel that's quite near and dear to our cold analytical hearts, since it was actually one of our main inspirations for starting What It Is. You've probably already guessed from the thumbnail and video title, but yes, that is right, we are going to be talking about Yes Theory. Yes Theory has only been around since the beginning of 2015, but over the past 3 years has managed to amass over 2.5 million subscribers and close to 250 million views. You might be asking yourself, how could such a young channel grow this quickly? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. Hopefully through using our What It Is analytical tool belt, we can break it down into its audio and visual design, personalities, and underlying concepts to give you a general idea of why Yes Theory works. A quick side note to throw in before we dive into this deconstruction is that instead of focusing on a specific series, we're going to be addressing the channel and overarching style of videos as a whole. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna jump right into the visual design of most of their videos. In essence, the visual composition of a typical Yes Theory video is some combination of vlog-style footage, dramatic title sequences, face-to-face filming, basic graphics, montage sequences, flashbacks, and an overall inspirational aesthetic. Since Yes Theory has had several different editors, we likely missed a point or two in our list. Nonetheless, we think it encompasses most of the crucial ones, so let's jump right in. Vlog footage is a topic we've touched on earlier in our video on personality-based content. Essentially, it's an extremely effective way to give a video a more raw and uncut feel through shaky camera movement, which typically also works to enhance the presence of personalities, making the interaction seem far more genuine. Next, we have dramatic text placement. As a point to prove its effectiveness, we're gonna do an example of sorts. We decided we were going to prove a point by showing you how this simple visual edit makes you focus on exactly what I'm saying, but also continue the bit in an obnoxious, overdrawn manner to kill the joke. In essence, this style of visual presentation is useful because it helps Yes Theory present information clearly and set up their concise premises for each video, which as a result helps engage the audience early on. Another visual aspect is simulated face-to-face interaction. Again, this is a characteristic of personality-based content, which relies on setting up a camera so that on a subconscious level, the viewer feels like they are actually having a real interaction with whoever's being filmed. This visual trick is often used in Yes Theory's vlog-style footage, and really most vlogging content. But the more interesting method of this technique Yes Theory uses is a still camera serious conversation setup, or SCSCTU for short, something famously critiqued by Bobby Burns. They don't necessarily use this to emotionally manipulate their audience, but instead to invoke a degree of seriousness, which helps them present some of the more inspirational and powerful moments within their content. Next, we have a number of basic editing techniques that fall under the umbrella of graphics, such as animations, meme reactions, overlays, and sampled clips, all of which are used to add production value to the videos, as well as a bit more character and room for the editors to shine. Following this, we have montage sequences that are used to some extent in almost all of their content, typically to simulate the passing of time or to set the stage for an episode. Here are a few examples.
Here we go.
Fire, dog.
We get the best tacos in town, baby!
This style of edit is nothing new, but nonetheless is an effective way to entertain the viewer while also giving them information about the progression of the video. Also, as a side note, as their budgets increased, they've been able to start using drone footage for these montages, which is an incredibly valuable type of visual to pair with their meaningful messages. Next, we have black and white flashbacks like these.
I don't want to do it.
You can't just sit up in that tree and hang out.
That's totally.
These are also a classic editing technique, and I bring them up because they work quite well with the episode-like structure of most Yes Theory videos, and usually help to set up different types of humor. Finally, we have some notes on the general Yes Theory aesthetic. The first thing I'll talk about with this is their excellent use of color. The main color present in the Yes Theory branding is the electric blue we've been using throughout this video. This particular shade of blue is a more intense and jarring version of a typical sky blue, and is associated with strong bonds, emotion, and communication, all of which are things stressed throughout the philosophy of Yes Theory. Another note on their color use connects back to the text on screen bit. Basically, to help get points across, they will use intense shades of red, yellow, green, and blue to stress the importance of words within the ideas they put on screen. The final portion of this aesthetic I'll mention is a general do-it-yourself style, shown through visual bits like these.
Amar dropped out of a full-ride scholarship and turned down a $100,000 investment for his startup. Matt shut down his profitable streetwear clothing company, quit his job, and put his savings on the table for the project.
This type of visual presentation is one among many examples that fits with Yes Series' idea of anyone being able to do what they do with time, energy, and a simple yes. Transitioning over to the audio design, I'll again break this up into a few main points, which are the occasional stints of bad audio,
the oldest bar here in Ensenada, and it's where they supposedly invented
sound effects,
California hat,
You've got mail.
heartfelt narration,
Because traveling, if done in a real and raw way, can help break stereotypes and make you realize just how similar we all are around the world.
and phases of music. Starting with the bad audio quality, this might sound like it's meant to be a slight towards Yes Theory, but it's actually referencing the typical background noise you'll get during their inclusion of vlog-style footage. While small, this definitely adds to the raw, unfiltered feel of the videos and aids in making the viewer feel like they're actually there on the journey with them. Next, we have the sound effects, which are really just another basic type of edit that fits with the graphics we mentioned earlier. These typically aid in establishing humor or upping production value since people love attention to detail. The heartfelt narration note is a comment about the moments of their videos, primarily voiced by Thomas, which work to introduce the premise of the episode, guide its progression, and offer final thoughts and conclusions. This is another effective way of clearly presenting information while also pairing it with supporting visuals. Finally, we have the transitory music, which I'd argue is the most significant portion of the audio design since it seems to be a key factor for most inspirational content on YouTube. Essentially, if you listen carefully, the clever editors of Yes Siri will implement various types of music throughout the videos, primarily relying on specific piano key progressions or upbeat rhythms. I don't want to get too far into music theory here, but through properly pairing specific scales, keys, and genres with emotional or inspirational moments, one can increase the odds the viewer will have those chill-worthy experiences that most who watch Yes Theory are quite accustomed to. This wraps up the main tenets of Yes Series audio and visual design. All of these factors combine to give the brand an impactful and professional appearance. Moving on to the personality section, Yes Series hosts to a number of reoccurring characters. The original founders being Amar, Thomas, Matt, and Darren, who've since been joined by other Thomas and a few others. But for this section, we'll just be focusing on the core four and other Thomas since they arguably have the most screen time. This is not to undermine the valuable contributions of other members, but more about keeping the analysis concise. Using this visual, I'm going to give a quick overview of the personalities of each member, but first I'll start off with traits they all carry. These are an openness to new ideas and experiences, general friendliness, and good senses of humor. Overall, these traits combine to make a team that's fun to watch and usually able to befriend anyone they meet. For the individual traits, I'll be pulling a bit from a fantastic article written by Paige Bird. In this article, Paige describes Amar as having boundless energy, which is quite accurate as he's extremely extroverted, usually the most friendly and energetic of the team. This is also accompanied by a good deal of courage, shown through his recent Grand Canyon bungee jump and transparency regarding the extremely personal elements of his family life. Put all of this together and you have Amar, the ray of sunshine. Next, Paige highlights Thomas's storytelling skills, which makes sense as Thomas is the de facto voice of Yes Siri, offering the guiding narration we mentioned earlier. Thomas has also struggled with immense failure and hardship in his life, all of which he's bared openly, making him Thomas, the voice of reason. Matt is described as being practical, which again is accurate as he often presents himself as the industrious problem solver of the group. Pair this with his admirable struggle to fight and overcome his anxiety, and you have Matt, the pragmatic go-getter. Lastly, Darren is described as a cynic of the group, which is not really a negative thing since adding a dose of realism to the high aspirations of the group has only served to make their dreams more achievable. His own path has been one marked by a fear of never completing anything, which has hopefully been quelled to an extent with the success of Yes Theory and recent completion of his film Everything Outside. All of this combines to make Darren the dependable realist. Other Thomas is the brother of Matt and is a newer addition to the group, usually serving as an editor. Still, he's important to include as he'll pop up in videos and even serve as a key member in a few episodes. Thomas offers another level of depth to the group because he's introverted, which makes seeking discomfort a very easy thing for him to do. Despite being clearly uncomfortable at times, Thomas will always push through, showing his engaging and genuine personality. This is what earns him our title of the lovable introvert. Overall, each member has a diverse origin story and cultural background, which not only helps them attract a variety of viewers from across the globe, but also works to bring out the humanity and goodness in the team, as at the end of the day, they're just a group of best friends doing what they love. In a way, they even act as a band of sorts, which bridges into our one-liner of the episode. Yes Siri is a beneficiary of the boy band effect. That's right, I said it, the boy band effect. The boy band effect is not some kind of innovative analytical term. In reality, it's more of a well-known commentary on the appeal of bands of brothers or sisters striving towards a collective goal while learning and growing together. On some archetypal level, it's appealing to watch groups of young people search or act with purpose, supported in their venture by one another. And instead of citing a variety of historical examples of this phenomena, I'll cite more culturally relevant examples and hope you don't notice. One Direction, Destiny's Child, BTS, Brockhampton. Think of the immense fandom that sits behind each of these collectives. Boy band-esque groups are beloved because they are a reflection of community and groups of friends put onto a screen or stage. We often find it far easier to connect and project ourselves onto groups like these because of the inherent familiarity we discover in watching them have fun, make jokes, and work together. I think that Yes Siri is a perfect example of one of these information age groups that put their hearts on their sleeve, letting us see them grow and prosper in real time online. This is a huge reason the personalities behind Yes Siri are as intoxicating as they are, and why they've seen so much success. This concludes our personality section and marks the moment where we transition into the final portion of this rather lengthy deconstruction, where we're going to discuss the effectiveness of the underlying concepts that compose Yes Siri. The idea behind Yes Siri is simple. In fact, you can sum it up with two words: seek discomfort. The fact that you can boil down almost all of the content produced by Yes Siri to these two words is a marvelous thing for the success of their brand. Yes Siri operates in a realm of online content focused on improving the lives of others, and when trying to make content that actually does this, simplicity is key. By getting rid of the filler surrounding this main premise, there's no room for convolution, allowing the viewer to know exactly what they're in for when they click on a Yes Siri video. Despite their many viral series and number of sticky thumbnails and titles, you can still easily find the underlying idea that connects everything they do. It's also clearly advertised on everything they do. But as another aspiring online brand, Yes Siri sort of acts as a paragon of what YouTube or content creating brands should aim to do with their mission statements, and hopefully we can take a note from them moving into the future. The next note on the effectiveness of Yes Siri has to do with the larger context the channel exists in on YouTube. As most know, a lot of content on this platform isn't exactly positive. With the extreme popularity of commentary channels, a lot of videos try to capitalize on drama or focus on finding the negative aspects of other easier to produce content. While this commentary can be framed in a constructive and helpful light, it's often not, and this has definitely led to a general trend of negativity over the past few years. I like to think that events like the death of Leafy Is Here's channel have pushed the commentary community to improve their ways, and this is certainly true for some, but not all. Realistically, we here at What It Is are in no place to judge, and it makes sense that content will be created for whatever is desired online. Also, to play devil's advocate, this content usually does make some people happy through making them laugh. Nonetheless, relating this back to Yes Siri, they act as a refreshing and innovative approach towards making positive content. With each episode focusing on how one can push their own limits and grow as a human being, Yes Siri is able to make content that makes people feel good without being at the expense of others. Calling back to the beginning of this video, I mentioned that our channel What It Is had a connection to Yes Siri, which is actually what I'll delve into for the final point. A little under a year ago, Wesley and I were just two down-on-our-luck college students who loved to discuss and analyze pretty much anything and everything. We'd considered the idea of trying to channel our ideas into some form of content in the years prior, but had decided it wasn't worth the effort. Still, around this time last year, Wes and I found ourselves in a bit of a rut. A place of helplessness, complacency, and constant dissatisfaction. This time period was also one marked by excessive time spent online. However, it was in these days spent browsing that we began to stumble upon content that changed our perception of YouTube and really what people are capable of. Yes Siri happened to be one of the channels that did this. Through learning about their story, how they gave up everything for an idea they truly believed in and really forced themselves to get up and do something, we were moved. This final point connects many of those mentioned in this video, as it has to do with the multitude of levels that Yes Siri works on to inspire their viewers. They not only make content which shows a variety of ways you can seek discomfort on a daily basis, but they themselves embody the idea of seeking discomfort. They took a leap of faith for something they believed in, and for us showed that it was never too late to follow a dream and even just find success on a platform saturated by thousands of massive channels. Now, Yes Siri certainly wasn't the sole reason we started what it is, but they were one of the few that helped start the fire in us, which is something I can imagine they've done for thousands, maybe millions around the world. At the end of the day, it's some amalgam of the well-crafted audio and visual design, boy band of unique, congenial, and lovable personalities, and truly inspiring concepts that make Yes Siri work. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Why It Works on What It Is. Leave a comment if you thought we left anything out, or if you have a suggestion for a series or type of content you want us to analyze in the future. If you want to see us seek discomfort by releasing content more than once a month, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching!